It was a bright and sunny morning in Enchancia, and Princess Sofia was strolling through the royal gardens, humming a cheerful tune. Birds were chirping, flowers were in full bloom, and everything seemed calm and peaceful. But suddenly, a faint, unusual sound caught her attention. It wasn't the normal rustle of the leaves or the gentle gurgle of the fountain. No, this sound was something different, something urgent. Sofia paused and perked up her ears. It sounded like someone calling for help. Her curiosity instantly sparked. Sofia had always been brave and ready for adventure. I need to see who that is, she thought. Carefully, she tiptoed toward the source of the sound, weaving between the flower beds and marble statues. To her surprise, standing near the edge of the fountain was none other than Olaf, the cheerful snowman from Arendelle. But something was wrong. Olaf, who was usually full of energy and laughter, looked worried. His carrot nose twitched nervously, and his little stick arms flailed in panic. "Sofia, thank goodness you're here," Olaf cried. "I've lost something very, very important." Sofia knelt down beside him, her eyes wide with concern. "Oh no, Olaf. What did you lose?" "Don't worry. We'll find together," she said, offering him a reassuring smile. Olaf's eyes shimmered with fear as he pointed to his small pouch. "It's my magic snowflake. Without it, I can't stay in Enchancia safely. If I don't find it soon, I might melt." Sofia gasped. The idea of Olaf melting in the sunny castle was alarming. "We can't let that happen," Sofia said firmly. "Don't worry, Olaf. We'll find your snowflake, no matter what it takes." Olaf felt a spark of hope. He had faced many challenges before, but this one was different. This snowflake was magical, and it had wandered away in the middle of the sunny day. He shivered slightly, but Sofia placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. They decided to begin their search in the castle, where Olaf had spent most of the morning. The first stop was the royal library, a tall, quiet place filled with towering shelves of books. Olaf loved the library because it had books about magical creatures and enchanted lands. They looked under tables, behind chairs, and between piles of books. Sofia lifted a large book, and tiny dust motes danced in the sunlight. "Not here," she said gently, brushing off the dust. Olaf looked around anxiously. "I thought I had it when I was reading here," he said softly. Sofia wasn't discouraged. She knelt and examined the floor, looking carefully for any signs. That's when she noticed tiny sparkles scattered across the marble floor, twinkling faintly like little stars. "Olaf, look!" she exclaimed. "I think this is a clue." Olaf's face brightened. "You're right, Sofia. Maybe the snowflake is trying to show us where it went." Following the trail, they moved through the library doors into the castle courtyard. The sparkles led them past the fountains, where water danced in arcs and reflected the sunlight like a rainbow. Olaf carefully stepped along the stone path, following the shimmer. Sofia encouraged him gently. "We'll find it, Olaf. Just keep looking and don't give up." Along the way, they met Clover the rabbit and Robin the bird, two of Sofia's loyal animal friends. "We saw the sparkles from the garden," Clover said, twitching his nose. Robin chirped excitedly. "We'll help you find it, Olaf." Sofia nodded, smiling. "Thank you, everyone. Together, we can solve this mystery." They spread out slightly, following the sparkling trail, which seemed to flicker as if it were alive. Olaf tried to remember the last time he had held the snowflake. "I had it when I met your friends at the royal kitchen," he said, shivering nervously. Clover twitched his nose. "Maybe it rolled somewhere while Olaf was chasing snow bunnies," he suggested. Sofia laughed softly. "Magic can sometimes play tricks. Let's follow the trail carefully." The sparkles led them to a shady corner near the rose garden, where tall hedges swayed gently in the breeze. Sofia leaned forward to inspect the ground. The sparkles seemed to vanish for a moment, then reappear near a small fountain at the edge of the garden. "It's like the snowflake is hiding from us," Sofia whispered, intrigued. Olaf nodded, a mixture of hope and worry on his face. "It's very clever," he said. Sofia reminded Olaf that magic often hides in unusual places, and that patience was key. "Sometimes the solution isn't where you expect," she said. "We need to think like the snowflake, Together, they moved toward the fountain, carefully scanning every corner, every crevice, and every shadow. Olaf's excitement returned as he realized that, with friends and determination, even the trickiest magic could be solved. As the sun shone brighter overhead, the sparkled trail led them further into the garden maze. Sofia held Olaf's hand, ready to face whatever lay ahead. "We're getting closer," she said with confidence. "I can feel it." Olaf twirled in a small circle of joy, feeling hopeful again. This was just the beginning of their adventure, and neither of them knew exactly what surprises awaited them deeper in the maze. And so, the search for Olaf's lost magic snowflake began, filled with sparkles, laughter, and the promise of an unforgettable adventure. But little did they know, a mischievous visitor was about to make this quest much more interesting. Sofia and Olaf carefully entered the castle's garden maze, following the sparkling trail that glimmered on the ground like tiny stars. The maze was full of tall hedges, twisting paths, and hidden corners. Every turn seemed to hide a secret. Olaf hopped along cautiously, his stick arms waving as he tried to keep his balance. "I hope my snowflake isn't too far away," he muttered, looking around nervously. Sofia smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, Olaf. Magic always leaves a trace, and we're very good at following clues." The first corner of the maze led them to a small pond with lily pads floating gently on the water. Clover, the rabbit, hopped ahead and sniffed around. "I see some sparkles over here," he said, twitching his nose. Robin, the little bird, fluttered from branch to branch, chirping excitedly. "There, over by the fountain. It's moving." Sofia's eyes widened. The sparkled trail shimmered brighter, almost as if it was alive, leading them deeper into the maze. Olaf's excitement returned. "We're getting closer. I can feel it." As they moved along the path, Sofia reminded Olaf to stay calm. "Sometimes magic likes to play tricks, Olaf," she said. "We need to think like it and follow it patiently." Olaf nodded, although a little worry still lingered. The sparkles twisted around corners, bounced over flower beds, and even disappeared for a few steps before reappearing, teasing them playfully. Sofia giggled. "It's like the snowflake wants us to work a little harder for it." Suddenly, they heard a soft rustling in the bushes. "What was that?" Olaf asked, shivering a little. Clover's ears perked up. "Could be a small animal," he suggested. Robin flew a bit closer and chirped. "Or maybe another magic clue." Sofia held Olaf's hand tightly. "Let's move carefully," she whispered. They tiptoed along the path, peeking around the hedges. And then, just for a moment, Olaf caught a glimpse of something glittering behind a tall rose bush. "Wait! There it is!" Olaf shouted, hopping forward. But when he reached out, the sparkles vanished again. Sofia shook her head, smiling. "It's playing hide and seek. We need to stay clever." They followed the trail slowly, carefully checking every twist and turn. Olaf's little snowman feet sometimes slipped on the stone paths, and Sofia helped him steady himself. Even though it was challenging, the journey was exciting. They were solving a mystery together, and that made Olaf forget some of his worry. The maze grew darker as they ventured further in, with shadows in the hedges stretching across the paths. Sofia whispered encouragement. "Don't worry, Olaf. The snowflake wants to be found. We just need to stay patient and keep looking." Olaf twirled his carrot nose nervously. "I hope we don't get lost," he said. Sofia laughed. "We won't. We have sparkles, friends, and determination on our side." After several twists, they reached a small clearing filled with colorful flowers. Tiny sparkles danced across the petals, leading to a fountain in the center. "That has to be it," Olaf cried. He ran forward, but as he approached the fountain, a small, golden fox darted out from behind a bush, grabbing the snowflake in its mouth and sprinting off. Olaf froze. "Oh no, my snowflake," he cried, hopping in place. Sofia chuckled softly. "Looks like the snowflake made a new friend," she said. Sofia quickly came up with a plan. "Olaf, distract the fox gently while Clover and I get behind it. Then we can guide it back." Olaf nodded, taking a deep breath. He started tossing tiny snowballs carefully near the fox, making it playful but not scared. Clover and Sofia moved quietly, keeping the fox in sight. Robin flew above, keeping an eye on the snowflake as it sparkled in the fox's mouth. After a few careful attempts, the fox finally dropped the snowflake in front of Sofia, who caught it gently. Olaf squealed with delight and hugged it tightly. "I can't believe it. We did it." Sofia laughed, brushing away some leaves from the sparkles. "It took teamwork, patience, and thinking like magic, Olaf. That's why we found it." Olaf's joy was obvious. He danced a little circle in the clearing, feeling safe and happy again, with the snowflake securely in Olaf's hands. Sofia reminded him about the importance of taking care of magic. "Olaf, now we know your snowflake can be tricky, but as long as we stay calm and work together, nothing can go wrong." Olaf nodded, twirling his carrot nose. "You're right, Sofia, and I learned something important today. Even when things seem lost, there's always a way to find them if you don't give up." They took a short break in the clearing, watching the sunlight shimmer on the flowers. Olaf's little snowflake glowed softly, like a reminder of their teamwork. Sofia smiled at her friends. "This was fun, wasn't it? Even with the fox and all the tricks, we made it through." Clover twitched his nose in agreement, and Robin chirped happily. Olaf twirled again, laughing. "Next time, I think I'll keep my snowflake in a safer place," he said jokingly. And so, the sparkling trail had led them through twists, turns, playful tricks, and teamwork. Sofia and Olaf had learned that patience, clever thinking, and the help of friends has solved even magical problems. But little did they know, the adventure wasn't completely over. There was still one final challenge waiting in the castle garden maze, something that would test their courage, cleverness, and the magic of friendship. Sofia, Olaf, Clover, and Robin had just retrieved the sparkling snowflake from the playful fox, but the little golden creature wasn't finished yet. It darted back and forth between the hedges, wagging its bushy tail and making tiny pouncing leaps. "Oh no," Olaf said nervously, his carrot nose trembling. "I think it wants to play a little more with my snowflake." Sofia chuckled. "It seems so, Olaf. But don't worry, we can be clever too." Sofia crouched down, thinking quickly. "We need a plan," she said. "Olaf, try distracting the fox while Clover and Robin help guide it back. I'll stay close to the snowflake in case it tries to run again." Olaf nodded, determined. He gently tossed small, soft snowballs in front of the fox, not to scare it, but just to get its attention. The fox's eyes lit up, and it began chasing the snowballs instead of the snowflake. Meanwhile, Clover hopped around the fox, positioning himself to block any escape routes. Robin flew above, chirping instructions and keeping an eye on the snowflake. Sofia stayed calm and ready, focusing on the tiny magical sparkles that floated around the snowflake like stars in the sunlight. "Almost there," she whispered to herself. "We just need patience and teamwork." The fox made a sudden leap, grabbing the snowflake in its mouth again. Olaf squealed, hopping in surprise. "My snowflake!" he cried, worried that it might disappear. But Sofia calmly signaled to Clover. The rabbit twitched his ears and moved closer, carefully surrounding the fox so it couldn't run any further. Robin swooped down and flapped his wings, guiding the fox toward a small clearing. Olaf continued tossing snowballs gently, keeping the fox's attention on the playful game. After several careful attempts, the fox finally dropped the snowflake in front of Sofia. "Got it," she said, smiling widely. Olaf's face lit up with joy. "Finally, I can't believe we did it," he exclaimed, hugging the snowflake tightly. The fox gave a playful bark, almost as if it was apologizing, and ran off back into the garden maze. Sofia laughed. "It looks like the fox just wanted to play," she said. "Sometimes magic and nature like a little fun, too." Olaf twirled in place, feeling safe and happy again. "I learned something important today," he said, smiling at Sofia and the animal friends. "Even when things seem lost or tricky, there's always a way to solve the problem if you don't give up." Sofia nodded. "Exactly, Olaf. And today we proved that teamwork, patience, and clever thinking can solve even the most magical problems." They took a moment to rest in the clearing. The sunlight glimmered on the flowers, the fountain trickled peacefully, and Olaf's snowflakes sparkled brightly, a symbol of their success. "This is beautiful," Olaf said. It feels so nice to be safe again. Sofia smiled, watching Olaf dance happily with the snowflake. I'm glad we could help, Olaf. And this adventure reminds us that magic is not just in snowflakes. It's in friends, teamwork, and never giving up. Clover twitched his nose in agreement, and Robin chirped excitedly. Even the flowers seemed to sway in celebration of their success. Olaf laughed, spinning slowly in a circle. I think I'll keep my snowflake extra safe from now on, he joked. Sofia giggled. Good idea, Olaf. But remember, magic sometimes needs a little adventure to stay bright. As they prepared to leave the clearing, Sofia glanced at the sparkling path that had led them through the maze. This journey has been full of surprises, she said. But we learned that staying calm, thinking ahead, and helping each other makes any challenge easier. Olaf nodded, holding his snowflake carefully. And a little fun along the way doesn't hurt either, he said, laughing. Suddenly, a soft breeze blew through the garden, and tiny sparkles danced in the sunlight. Olaf's snowflake twinkled in response. It's like the snowflake is happy too, Sofia said. Olaf twirled again, his little snowman body spinning in delight. Clover and Robin hopped and chirped, joining in the celebration. The magical moment reminded everyone that sometimes the smallest creatures and simplest actions, like helping a friend or solving a puzzle, can create the brightest magic. Even as the adventure seemed to calm down, Sofia knew there was one more step before everything could be fully resolved. Olaf's snowflake was safe, but returning it to its magical pouch required care. Sofia guided Olaf back toward the castle's central courtyard, where the snowflake could be protected and admired without risk. Olaf's steps were light and careful, holding his snowflake close to his chest. Clover followed beside him, Robin fluttering above, and Sofia stayed close, ensuring every move was safe and steady. By the time they reached the courtyard, Olaf's joy was visible to everyone. I feel so lucky to have friends like you, Olaf said, smiling at Sofia and the animal companions. Sofia nodded warmly. And we're lucky to have you, Olaf. Today we learned that magic is not only in snowflakes, it's in courage, patience, and teamwork. Olaf's snowflake sparkled one last time, as if to agree, glowing brightly in the sunlight. With their teamwork and clever thinking, they had overcome the mischievous tricks, followed sparkling trails, and safely recovered Olaf's precious snowflake. The adventure in the garden maze had been full of surprises, playful moments, and important lessons. And although Olaf's snowflake was finally safe, Sofia knew that their adventure still had one more magical chapter ahead. One that would teach Olaf even more about friendship, courage, and the wonders of Enchancia. With Olaf's snowflake finally back in his hands, a magical glow immediately surrounded him. Tiny sparkles danced around his little snowman body, and he felt a rush of warmth and safety. I feel perfect again, Olaf exclaimed, twirling in delight. Sofia laughed as she watched him spin. That's the magic of your snowflake, Olaf, she said. It's more than just ice. It's a reminder of your courage and how friends can help in any problem. Olaf's eyes sparkled with happiness, and he carefully held his snowflake close, not wanting to let it go. As they walked back toward the castle courtyard, Olaf reflected on the adventure. I never thought a snowflake could lead me on such a journey, he said, giggling. Sofia smiled. Magic often leads to lessons, she said gently. Today, you learn patience, clever thinking, and the importance of teamwork. That's real magic, Olaf. Clover twitched his nose in agreement, and Robin chirped happily from above. The little animal friends had played an important part, showing that teamwork makes any adventure easier. The sun was shining bright in the courtyard, and the flowers seemed to sway in celebration. Olaf noticed how the sparkles from his snowflake reflected in the fountains and petals. It's beautiful, he said, eyes wide with wonder. Sofia nodded. It is, and it shows that magic is not just about what you see. It's about the care and courage we bring into everything we do. Olaf hugged his snowflake tightly. I'm so glad you helped me, Sofia. I couldn't have done it without you and the friends here. As they walked, Sofia pointed out small details Olaf might have missed before. Look at how the sunlight makes the water dance, she said. And see how the little flowers sway in the wind? Magic is everywhere. Olaf, you just have to notice it. Olaf twirled again, careful not to drop his snowflake, and laughed. "I think I'm noticing it now more than ever," he said. Clover hopped alongside him, and Robin fluttered overhead, adding to the cheerful scene. The group stopped near a quiet fountain at the center of the courtyard. "Now that your snowflake is safe, Olaf," Sofia said, "you can enjoy your time here without worrying." Olaf nodded. "Yes, and I want to celebrate with everyone. Let's have a snowball party. Even in the sun, we can make magic happen." Sofia giggled. "That sounds fun, Olaf. But first, we need to make sure your snowflake stays safe in its pouch." She gently guided him to secure the snowflake, and Olaf carefully placed it inside, watching the sparkles settle. After the snowflake was secured, Olaf's glow seemed brighter than ever. "I feel like myself again," he said, spinning in a small circle. Sofia smiled warmly. "And that's because you are Olaf. You stayed brave, kept hope alive, and trusted your friends. That's why the snowflake is shining so brightly. Magic is strongest when you combine courage, patience, and friendship." Olaf twirled one last time in delight, feeling grateful and joyful. Sofia decided to teach Olaf one more thing about magic. "Olaf, do you see how the snowflake sparkles when you're happy and safe?" she asked. Olaf nodded eagerly. "Yes, it's so bright." Sofia continued, "That sparkle shows your heart. Magic is connected to how you feel and the choices you make. That's why friendship and teamwork are so powerful. They make magic stronger." Olaf's eyes widened. "Wow, I never knew magic could be about friendship too." As they prepared to leave the courtyard, Sofia noticed small hints of sparkle floating through the air. "See, Olaf? Magic is all around you," she said, pointing to the glittering particles dancing in the sunlight. Olaf laughed, hopping with joy. "I feel like I'm in a snow globe full of happiness." Clover twitched his nose, and Robin chirped as if agreeing. Together, they headed back toward the castle, where everyone could see Olaf safely holding his snowflake and enjoying the moment. Before ending the day, Sofia and Olaf reflected on the lessons of the adventure. "I learned that even when things seem lost, you can find them if you stay patient and work with friends," Olaf said. Sofia nodded. "Exactly, Olaf. And remember, magic is not only about sparkles. It's about courage, kindness, and never giving up. That's how true magic works." Olaf smiled, holding his snowflake close and feeling proud of himself for staying brave during the adventure. By the time they returned to the castle, Olaf's joy was visible to everyone. The snowflake shimmered brightly, reflecting the sunlight and casting tiny rainbows across the courtyard. Sofia smiled. "Today was magical, Olaf, but the magic you created by being brave and kind is even stronger." Olaf twirled one last time, spinning and laughing. "I can't wait for our next adventure," he said, full of excitement and hope. And so, Olaf's snowflake was safe. The magical garden adventure had come to a happy end, and Sofia and her friends learned that courage, teamwork, and kindness create magic that shines brighter than any snowflake. But little did they know, the adventure wasn't completely over. A new twist was waiting that would remind Olaf and Sofia the importance of care, trust, and the true magic of friendship. The sun was beginning to set over the castle of Enchancia, painting the sky in shades of pink, orange, and gold. Princess Sofia, Olaf, Clover, and Robin stood together in the royal courtyard, reflecting on their magical adventure. Olaf held his snowflake carefully in his pouch, glancing at it with awe. "I still can't believe how tricky it was to find this little snowflake," Olaf said, shaking his stick arms excitedly. "It felt like it had a mind of its own." Sofia laughed softly. "That's the thing about magic, Olaf. Sometimes it leads us on little adventures to teach us lessons along the way." Olaf twirled in place, laughing. "I learned so much. I learned that patience is important, that teamwork really works, and that friends make magic stronger." Sofia nodded, smiling warmly. "Exactly, Olaf. And don't forget courage. You didn't panic even when it seemed like the snowflake might disappear. That courage is part of what makes magic so bright." Olaf's snowflake shimmered, sparkling like it was agreeing with her words. Sofia decided it was a perfect time for a little celebration. "Let's have a magical snowball party," she suggested. Olaf's eyes widened with excitement. "Yes, Even though it's sunny, we can make it fun. Clover twitched his nose happily, and Robin chirped in agreement. They quickly gathered some soft, magical snowballs that Olaf could safely create from a snowflake, tossing them gently in the air. Sofia joined in, laughing as Olaf hopped around tossing snowballs, and even Clover got into fun by nudging small snowballs toward Olaf. The playful moment was full of joy and laughter. Sofia watched Olaf carefully, making sure the snowflake stayed safe, and couldn't help but smile. Magic doesn't have to be serious all the time, she said. It can also be fun, playful, and full of surprises. Olaf giggled, bouncing happily. This is the best day ever. I thought losing my snowflake would be scary, but it turned into an amazing adventure with friends. Clover twitched his nose and Robin chirped happily as the courtyard became a scene of cheerful chaos, full of friendship, laughter, and magic. After the snowball fun, Olaf, Sofia, and the friends gathered near a fountain to catch their breath. You know, Sofia, Olaf said thoughtfully, I think the snowflake wanted to teach me something. It wasn't just lost. It was a little test to see if I could be brave and work with my friends. Sofia smiled. You're right, Olaf. Magic often teaches lessons in unexpected ways. Today, you learn how important teamwork, patience, and thinking carefully can be. And the snowflake is happier too. It shines brighter because of all the love and care you showed. Olaf hugged the snowflake again, feeling grateful. I never want to take it for granted again, he said. And I'll always remember this adventure. It's like the snowflake brought me a gift. Friendship and courage wrapped in sparkle. Sofia laughed, giving Olaf a gentle pat on his snowy shoulder. That's exactly right. And the best part is, you now know how to handle magic when it gets tricky. That's a very special skill, Olaf. Clover and Robin joined in, and Sofia suggested a little game to end the day. Let's hide some sparkles around the courtyard and see if we can find them, she said. Olaf's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yes, but this time I promise to be extra careful. The friends giggled and began their little treasure hunt, learning that magic, friendship, and fun could all happen at the same time. The courtyard echoed with cheerful laughter and the soft shimmer of magic dust floating through the air. As the sky turned golden, Olaf turned to Sofia. Sofia, I learned one very important thing today, he said. Even when something important is lost or it seems impossible, there's always a way to find it if you stay calm, work with friends, and never give up. Sofia nodded warmly. Exactly, Olaf. And magic is not just about snowflakes or spells. It's about courage, patience, and caring for others. That's the real magic of Enchancia. Olaf held his snowflake close one last time, twirling with happiness. I think this is the happiest snowflake ever, he said. It glows brighter than ever before. Sofia smiled, watching the glittering snowflake sparkle in the sunlight. And it will continue to shine as long as you remember what you've learned today, she said. The friends gathered one final time for a group hug, each of them feeling proud, happy, and connected. As the day came to a close, Sofia looked around at her friends, Olaf, and the sparkling snowflake. Today was magical, but the most important magic was what we created together, she said. Olaf laughed, twirling happily. I can't wait for our next adventure. Sofia, with friends, anything is possible. Clover twitched his nose, and Robin chirped in excitement. The sun set behind the castle, painting the sky with warm colors as the magic of friendship, courage, and teamwork filled the courtyard. And so, Olaf's snowflake was safe, the lessons of patience and teamwork were learned, and Princess Sofia and her friends celebrated the true magic of friendship. No matter what challenges came next, they knew that together, they could overcome anything. The adventure may have ended for today, but the memories and the magic would last forever